You're very welcome here to the FAI Coach Education Special Edition webinar. I'm delighted to have this webinar focusing on our Education and Training Board courses. Delighted to welcome Harry McCue from the Cabra course, Leo Tierney from the Castlebar course, and Richard Holland from the Cork Blarney course, all of which are the coordinators of the programme. Lads, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Niall.
Morning.
So,
Morning, boys.
Get straight into it. Harry, as one of the more experienced of the three in the room, let's talk about yourself. Obviously, you were in the second edition of the UEFA Pro License course group, which graduated in 2011. Tell us about the journey to get there and how you made your transition from your fabulous playing career into coaching.
Yeah, 2011. I did the second one. It was. Packy Bonner was technical director at the time. And it was a great experience, really, because I'm just looking at through all the names that was on it, and it was a great mixture of lads from overseas, lads that played in England, and also a great mixture of League of Ireland footballers as well, and managers. So for me, it was a great experience. I was in the FAI since 2004, so I was with Drogheda before that for 7 years as a coach and manager, and that was a great experience for me as well. But then when that came to an end, I joined the FAI, and we started up the Cabra course. That was the start of the ETB courses, one in Cabra and one in Orangetown, and we progressed then with the courses, and obviously now we have 10 around the country, which are very successful. But from the coach education point of view, I was doing my A license under Noel O'Reilly, which was an experience itself, and then progressed to the pro license, and it was excellent then. We travelled to Holland to a Dutch First Division team called Cambuur, and we spent a week there. So it was another great experience. It wasn't the biggest club in the world, but it certainly related to a League of Ireland, exactly what you'd like in a League of Ireland scenario. So from that perspective, it was a great experience.
And talk to me about Noel. So many people have so many fond memories, and obviously Noel was taken too soon, and he's somebody that's acknowledged as being one of our most established coaches in the game across the world. And obviously we have Richard Holland, who actually won the Noel O'Reilly Award, which is an annual award we give out, which is a very prestigious award for the Coach of the Year. So tell us about your experience with Noel and Noel's knowledge of the game.
Yeah, Noel, yeah, he's a very experienced coach, senior coach with Brian over the years. Was at Pats and won league championships there, so he's very experienced, very knowledgeable. Noel always sort of put the arm around you and called you aside and had some great pointers to make to you. Never highly critical, but always picking out small little points that you can improve on in your coaching. I remember a great experience we had. I went to Thailand with the senior girls. Noel King was manager, I was the assistant, and Noel was the university's manager. And he's just great to be around. We spent 2 weeks in Bangkok, and like we were with him every day of the week. And his knowledge of the game, his knowledge of players, very much like Brian. He certainly knows every player in England, every manager in England, and very knowledgeable.
Yeah, he really was a credit, and it's great to have that type of award to acknowledge somebody that has that influence in our game. And talking to you, Leo, I suppose you came in and finished your pro license in the 2015 group, and I know that was quite an established group in terms of the likes of Stuart Ashton, John Caulfield, Dave Connell, a number of the FAI staff, Tommy Griffin from Waterford, Mick Neville. So it was another example of a great group, a great mixture of League of Ireland experience. And how was your transition out of playing into coaching? And obviously you've gone on and done that specialist education in the most recent years. You did the UEFA GK license, so it's great to have somebody within the ETB program that has a specialist goalkeeping license as well.
Yeah, my pathway came through obviously when I finished playing. My career was looking up. I spelled just like the Rovers and Galway United. But then when I came into coaching in around 2000, Niall Harrison was the development officer here in Mayo at the time. And Niall was a huge influence on me to help me on my coaching journey. He always encouraged me to take the next step. And we were looking, if I did my B license with Niall, then I went on to do my A license, and then, as you say, got on to the pro license, which was a very challenging course, but it was brilliant. There was some great characters on it. Ollie Horgan was on it, you know, Tom Mohan, Collie O'Brien, very experienced people, but people who all wanted to help each other. And, you know, we were lucky enough as well that Sue Onan and Eileen Gleeson from the ladies were on it. And there was a great mix and there was a great dynamic I felt in the group. The learning was very interesting. You know, we touched on the periodization for that plan. That was one of Ruth's first courses, I think, and it was very good. From the goalkeeping side, because I played in goals, I always had the goalkeeping interest, and I wanted to take the next step to do the goalkeeping. And because I had experience of international football. I had always worked from the under-15s all the way to the under-21s as a goalkeeping coach with John Morling, Noel King at the 21s, and the late great John McCaffrey was the first person that brought me in to be a goalkeeping coach at international level. So it was great to get on that course. It was a very, very educational course, the goalkeeping course. And good lads, you know, we had Gary Rogers from home on it, a couple of lads from England on it, and we had Louise from Benfica, goalkeeper coach, he was on it. So it was a great learning as well. And I think sometimes the goalkeepers in the past would have been forgotten about a little bit. But I think now with the new pathway, it's a great opportunity for goalkeeping coaches to get onto the ladder. I suppose from my point in that, I had done the pro license before the goalkeeping, which was very beneficial because a lot of the questions the lads were asking me on the course about how would you manage in certain situations and the relationship between being a manager or a head coach and a goalkeeping coach, you know, I had the insight into that to help them, and you know, we felt it was a great learning. And it's challenging. All these courses, I think, for lads, is challenging. And sometimes I think people think, you know, am I good enough? You know, have I got enough skills? But I feel that the way the courses are structured now, once you get in on the course, your skills come to the fore. And it builds your confidence and obviously your knowledge. And the structure is really good. And I would, you know, say to people, take the leap and go and do these courses because they will improve you, but they will challenge you.
And I think that's an interesting one in terms of what Harry said, and you're reiterating it, that international thing, that having people from other countries, it does bring a great opportunity to gain experience and build networks and relationship with coaches inside and outside of the country. And we'll go to Richie. So Richie, obviously you're working here in Cork, in Blarney. You've gone through the UEFA B, UEFA A license, and you're currently a member of the UEFA Elite Youth A license. Tell us about your experience. And I know that you've only recently made that experience of transitioning from playing into coaching. How has that been for you? And have you any tips for anyone that's thinking about taking that step out of the game?
Well, I probably would have started my coaching journey at a very young age. I think it was, I was an ex-learner on the course, first of all, 14 years ago. I was with Mick Conroy and Paul Bannon on the course as a player. So I would have been with the Cork City 21s at the time, playing there as well. So we were being introduced into the coaching side of it on the course. Unfortunately, during the year, I actually got an injury on the course. So I would have been out for, I think it was a period of 3 months. But I was coming in every day on my crutches and all that. And next thing, all of a sudden, we had a friendly game. I always remember it. And I'm there with my buddies. And Mick Conroy said, "You're taking the team today." And I'm here with all my buddies and my learners and that, whatever. And he really threw me in the deep end. So I had to do team meetings and stuff like that. So that was my first kind of experience to say of taking charge of a team. Thankfully, we won the game, and it was a good experience. It really took me out of my comfort zone. But then from then on, I grew into it. Did my badges, obviously, as you say, did my B license with the coach education department. Did my A license as well. All while I was playing, so I got both sides of it, you know. But I would recommend to any players, I say, that are coming to the end of their career or whatever, that if they're looking to go into coaching, that they should get their education, because there is a big difference, I think, from the playing point of view to the coaching side of it, you know.
Yeah, and I think that was really interesting on our current pro license group. We had obviously some of our senior international players in terms of Robbie Keane, Damien Duff, Keane Andrews, Andy Reid. And one of the common themes they all sort of said was that when they came out of their playing experience, they were able to take all of those experiences with them. But it was nearly learning the trade again. They nearly felt like they were back being an apprentice as a coach and learning the game from that perspective. So that's really interesting. And I think it really works well, Harry, what Richie said, and it goes to show the value and how beneficial this programme is to football in Ireland, because Richie's a success story on the screen, but there are so many other success stories of people who have come into it, experienced playing in a full-time capacity, gone on and play in the league. I think over 50% of the players in the league at the moment have experienced being in the programme. But there are so many other career opportunities. I know from my own experience in Cork, we've had people that went on and are working in England as performance analysis, working in the high ends of the game. We've former players that have gone on and done PE degrees. Like, it's a really valuable programme, and there are so many progress routes, Harry, aren't there?
A huge mix, yeah. And just looking at some of the lads that were on the course, like we spoke about Steve Harrison, who was assistant to McLaren in the English senior team on the course, with Kenny Cunningham was on it. Michael Brown, who was assistant manager to Corbersley at Charlton, and he was there for 10 years at Charlton, and went on to be the senior coach at Qatar, the Esport Academy. So that mix, Curtis Fleming, who's now still coaching in England, Tommy Dunn, who's now coaching, I think he's in Finland, back in Finland now, he was in Cork as well. But the mixture of lads was tremendous, it really was. And as Leo said earlier, the experience of the group and myself, probably a little more, not as experienced as most of these lads, but they were also very helpful in their knowledge and all that past experiences with different managers, different coaches, and just it was so enjoyable, especially to meet, especially the group sessions that we had. Just that just a different experience that the lads had, and you took an awful lot away yourself from it, you know.
Harry, telling me now, obviously the programme itself has been with COVID-19, as we all have, and hopefully we're coming out of this slowly but surely. Tell us how you've adapted your own programme in terms of still engaging your learners, and what things actually might be valuable in terms of that you might use in the future when we do get back to a norm. Is there any online learning or tools that you're going to continue to use?
Yeah, well, it's completely new to us, and all of a sudden we're straight away from absolutely just being in classroom, face-to-face meetings, face-to-face tutor classes on the pitch, to absolutely nothing. You're at home, you're on Zoom or you're on Teams, and you're working nearly every day of the week. You have Zoom meetings. So it is a challenge. The lads had to get used to it. We had to get used to it. The educators, Little Lane Training, who were tremendous throughout the whole period. So nearly from now, even working now, what we did, we just finished the QQI. All the courses are finished, the level 5 QQI. We've now gone on to the ITEC, the gym diploma, and it's just a great stream straight into the ITEC diploma. And we work there now for about maybe till the end of July, where we'd have to maybe come into the gym situation, and hopefully we'll be back in Cabra then. So they'll do their final exams in August in the gym situation. But it's been a good experience. It's been difficult for tutors, I must say, at times, of getting work from the lads. And and we had to be in on the meetings every day as well. But going forward with it, I think nothing beats the face-to-face tutoring. That's my opinion. It certainly worked in certain times, and it certainly worked this time. But I think that the classroom situation, where you can talk to lads, and obviously if things are not working out with them, if they find a difficulty, the tutors always have a one-on-one with the lads, and it's difficult in the Zoom scenario having one-on-ones. But we've got through it, and we've got, I think, out of 19, we've got 17 major awards this year, which is, I think, is a great success.
And it's for anyone that doesn't know what a major award does, it really is phenomenal, because it gives the young person nearly 400 points equivalency in terms of a Leaving Cert CEO application. So that's an unbelievable opportunity for progression in terms of going to further education training, but even in terms of employment. And I think as well, Harry, it's really interesting for people that may not know the ITEC gym instruction, why that's the choice or the chosen gym instruction qualification. It's because it's one of the only global recognised qualifications. So throughout the world, individual national qualifications, but the ITEC, which is a British qualification, is actually accredited all over the world, which is phenomenal for any young people, because I know of a number of our former learners that are out in Australia or in the States actively working with that gym instruction qualification. So it's phenomenal. So Leo, yourself up in Castlebar, any Wi-Fi issues for the Zoom chat? How are the guys dealing with it? How have you dealt with it? And how is life now as delivering the course?
I think, just to say what Harry said, it has worked. But I think we were lucky in that the course was up and running before this happened. So because our courses, I feel, are always so person-centered, and getting to know the people and giving them confidence in themselves, and it's all about personal development. So I feel that once you have that relationship established, it was easier for us to go into online learning with them, because you know what you're dealing with, the characters of the people. It was very challenging, I feel, for the young people. It was challenging for us as coordinators, but it was also very challenging for the trainees. And I think, in fairness, as Harry said there, great numbers completing successfully, the same as we've had. And we're really proud of them, because I feel that they've had to adapt, and then they've had to relearn. It's not the way that they're naturally learned in the past coming through school, so they had to do it this way now. And I feel it has worked. We would definitely look at some online learning going forward. But I really feel that it's hard to beat out face-to-face and, getting to know people. And I think that's so important. So it was looking for us that we had all that background done before it happened,
And Richie, yourselves in Cork, how have you dealt with it? And has it been difficult, as similar to the lads? And obviously, fair dues to you all, you've made it work, and it seems to have been quite successful. But how have your learners adapted to the new online life?
They've adapted well, Niall. At the start, it just took a little bit of getting used to it, but they've got into their routine now. In fairness, Dave Hill, who's the assistant coordinator here, Dave's got great experience, they say, working in the League of Ireland. Obviously, he's playing career as well, but Dave's big into the S&C side of it as well. So Dave is doing fitness classes as well as the educational stuff. So the lads are pretty busy, in fairness. They've been kept going, and in fairness to all of them, all their work has been good, Definitely, I agree with Leo that we'll definitely be bringing in some sort of online learning next year, and I think there will be a benefit to the course that way, I don't know, would it be a case of, with the social distancing coming in and that, would it be a case that we might look at kind of splitting the class, where some lads might actually watch the class from home, others will be in, and split the class that way. We just have to wait and see what the guidelines will be at the time. But no, it's definitely been challenging. But there's a lot of positives that come out of it as well.
And it must be difficult for the learners across the country, because obviously we're in this situation since March, and probably you're looking at us at them losing nearly. If they come in October, they might have experienced 4 or 5 months of the course. Is there any opportunity for the learners to return to gain that, that 12 months, that full experience, that being on the pitch, playing like a pro, training like a pro, or is it just COVID has done this and there isn't an option for that?
On my course is actually level 4, so my course is actually a progression course to the 5. So I link in with McConroy with the Carrigaline course. So there is a progression route there for the lads, to hopefully get on next year. I know what you're saying. Like, for me personally, it was nearly the best year of my life in terms of footballing. That you're training in the morning, you're in every morning, you feel like a professional. Obviously you do your education, that as well, and then at the time I was going back playing with my club, then training in the evenings, and you're never as fit as what you'd be on the course. You get a qualification out of it. It's a fantastic course. It really is.
And that's something that I always experience. I had a great number of years there, and every time I meet some of the former learners, I think, Leo, you hit the nail on the head in terms of that personal development. You really do end up having a real personal connection with them, because you end up becoming a mentor or a role model, and they see you as a very positive person in their lives, because you're not teaching them like school. It's completely different in terms of its dynamic learning, it's practical learning. You're getting work experience, you're out in the pitch coaching, you're doing modules that have benefits in terms of your own development, nutrition, anatomy. So you're gaining an understanding of how to develop yourself as a player. And every time I meet a former learner, they say that, as what Richie has said, that it was the best year of their lives.
Yeah. So
for yourself, it must be great. And tell us, Harry, about some of the former learners that you've had and where they've gone on to.
Yeah, well, we've had quite a few, all right. Some lads have done really well. And just on the ITEC, before I go, an awful lot of lads now gone into, apart from their football career, and they've combined it with their playing career as well, is the S&C, the strength and conditioning, that they've partaken in clubs. And according to get that, the ITEC, you need insurance, obviously, and with your ITEC certificate, it's automatic. You get your insurance certificate as well. So that's very important to point out to lads. And they obviously go to maybe do the personal training course, and then they're open then to clubs, colleges, schools, whatever. So there's a great job opportunities once your ITEC is completed and stuff. So. Yeah, regarding, we've had some great successes right throughout the whole courses, right throughout the country, Niall, with internationals now. And we always say Matt Doherty came through us 2011. He's on the same course as Enda Stevens. So we're trying to get that type of players now. And if we can duplicate it, then fantastic. But they're two major successes that have come through, and only really because of maybe the progressions. They didn't go away till they were about 20, 21 years of age. They never went away. And I know Matt and his father, when they came into me, I think he may have been at 6 clubs for trials. And the father came in and said, I think we'll put an end to trials now, settle down into Cabra, full-time training, and then on to Bohemians. And he signed with Pat Fenlon. And he was playing in the Under-21 league at the time. And just by a stroke, Bohemians were going for the league. And they were playing Wolverhampton once on a Saturday. And Wolves were in pre-season training at the time. And by a stroke, Pat Fenlon rang me, said, how is Matt? He said, he's fine, he's training away. So we played on the next day. Pat Fenlon left an awful lot of players off because they were going through a real important time in the season. Mick McCarthy picked him up, went on trial, and then, he went on from there. So it's just the luck. But I think maybe with the full-time training that Matt was getting on with at the time with Cabra, certainly a huge help for him. And it's the same with Enda Stevens. He progressed from Cherry Orchard, went to UCD, St Pat's, Shamrock Rovers. So went to Aston Villa. So it didn't all work out for him either. So went down the leagues down to Portsmouth, and now he's in the Premiership again. Andy Boyle was with us, who came from Crumlin United, also progressed and now went away to Preston, now back at Dundalk. Leo has a few players as well, went away. and obviously progressed. Cork, like Richie might tell you about a few lads in Cork, but Mick Conroy was always way ahead of us. Like I think he started in 1996, well before us in 2004. So the likes of Colin Healy and stuff like that, all were on mixed course well before the ETB took over, the Education Training Board took over the courses. So the success rates have been fantastic for lads going away. And for League of Ireland lads, I think at the moment, the last count we did at the start of this season, there was 110 players that came through all the courses that are now playing League of Ireland. And I think the statistic from Dundalk and Rovers in the final last year, there were 7 players on the pitch came from the ETB courses. So I think there's 2 lads on the bench as well. So it's a great reflection.
Yeah, it's a great, and that's just such a fabulous objective reflection. The stats don't lie. And as you say, Mick Conroy, Mick has had so many fabulous players come through his reins and have played at the highest level. And Mick is certainly somebody that has a positive influence, even outside of the programme. I know Mick has been great with me, and I was involved in a coaching programme with him, and he's just so well received and has a great reputation for what he's done for Cork football. But the key thing for me, with the current structures in place, with the 13s, 15s, 17s, 19s, and the proposed further developments where we will in turn end up with a full academy structure, it's fabulous then to have that opportunity for a young player who could be wanting a career in the game to experience full-time football at home. And that's really invaluable, because so many young players do make that jump to go across or to go abroad, and they end up struggling because they're not experiencing the full-time training loads they are required, and they can't do it here because of school or education or whatever they're doing. But in the programme with the ETB, they get it all. They get that full-time training environment, they get that personal development, they have to manage their recovery, their diet. It's a fabulous opportunity. They also get a payment to help them experience managing their own money and managing their finances. So really, for any young player now within our League of Ireland structures, it's a great natural next step. And it's really important for us to get that message out to them that this will give you full-time training, and it'll give you full-time training across the country. As Harry said, we've 10 centres now. So Leo, it must be great to see the structures, and now it's really about getting as many of those top young players into this environment to give them a dual career, some education and full-time football.
Yeah, we've always seen our course and as creating possibilities for the learners. So the possibilities is that they can become players, they can go to college, they can get back involved coaching at their local clubs, or they become personal trainers through the Right Tech program. So that's how we always see that. It's a positive step. It's a bridgeway for these young people. They come in, they don't fully know what they want to do. They're not sure. So it's a great year for them, because it's like a pre-college or pre-work year for them, really. And like the people, as Harry would have said, who came through the course, we were lucky enough to have had Darrell Horgan came through our course, David Cawley, John Mahan, John Mountney, all, top players in this country. Rory Gaffney, Rory Keaton, both went to England. Rory was an interesting one. He came into us in, his background would have been Gaelic football, but he was also a decent soccer player. And, he couldn't get himself into college. So he came into us, he got the points that you said, and he got himself into GMIT, and he became an accountant. He got his accountancy qualifications. Rory also played at Limerick, and he got his move to England, and he's had several successful years in England, and now he's back playing with Shamrock Rovers again. But all the time, Rory has that accountancy qualification in his pocket. He may use it down the road, he may not. Lads who would have, the likes of Pecky Maley came back to us from Hibs in Scotland. Pecky didn't have any qualifications. Again, like that, got his points, got himself into college, and he set up his own personal training business, and he was a former captain of Finn Harps. There's always great stories like that. Tom King was a similar player, was at Plymouth for many years, left when he was 16, came back with no qualifications. but we had to work really hard on the course because the standard of the education on the course is high. And, you know, Tom found that it was challenging for him because he had left school and gone to England when he was 16. But he worked hard, got himself into the GMIT in Galway, and got his business degree. He's now out in the UAE and has a very, very successful career. I think the pathways for the lads, like we would have had lads who have gone on to become teachers, working in marketing, working in the banks, guards. You know, we even have lads who've gone on to become solicitors from our course. So that's why I say I think it's such a great year for them. And once they get into college, then they can divert into something. And we always say to them, go into something that you love and that you're very interested in and that you can have a career in. And I feel it's a great maturity year for them. And, you know, the amount of, you spoke earlier, Niall, about the amount of people that will come back to us, former trainees who would talk to the current groups and encouraging them, but also challenging them to get the best, to be their best, because you want them to get the best out of the course for themselves. And we feel that if they put in the hard work, our motto always has been, you know, treat people like you'd like others to treat you in Castlebar. And we always challenge them to be the best that they can be. And we find that that's taken them to anywhere they want to go, really. You know, the ITEC qualifications, we have lads, like I said earlier, in Australia, we have lads in America, England, in Europe, using that qualification to make careers for themselves. And, you know, even at home here, we have LT Fitness in Galway, you know, with Peter Gallagher and Donegal. These are all lads who are really, really successful stories. And, you know, it's the football is so important, but they all won't be top players. So they have to have another avenue for themselves. And that's if it's in education, going through their college and or going to work. So them are the opportunities, and that's the possibilities that these courses create for the young people. And I think even lads, the pathways from, you know, coming would have been like into us from school, into the ITs. There's a great link with Carlow IT. We ourselves would have a good link with Sligo, Letterkenny at Loan. And the amount of former trainees who would have gone on to Carlow, like even your own coach education, Craig Sexton, Ross Kenny, you know, Miho Slingerman from our course, a goalkeeper, went through that system as well. And it's great to see the young people going on doing well. We've also had, like Richie, we've had a few lads who came through our course who actually came back to tutor on the course on their education journey. And they've gone on to get full-time jobs now in different colleges around the country. So the opportunities are there, and it's, you know, we're a stepping stone to helping these young people to get on to something else for themselves.
And Richie, you yourself, I think this year were involved in the representative squad, so it's great for the guys as well that they get that opportunity to challenge themselves against top internationals, that there's a selection from all of the different ETB groups. So that's an important message as well, because it gives players a great platform to challenge themselves.
Yeah, exactly. We were, myself, Paddy Carey, and Jason McGuinness were involved in the management team this year just to play friendly against Andy Reid's under 18s up in Abbottstown. So obviously we had the pick of the 10 courses. It was a great opportunity for the players. As we always say, there's always someone watching, you know. There's lads that have come off the course that have gone into League of Ireland clubs and obviously gone on to play professionally over in England and that. So it's a great opportunity for them to play in front of big names in terms of the coaching world. I think that day alone, the likes of Tom Mohan was there, Stephen Kenny was there. You know, there was the big names there. So when you're playing and you're playing at that level, there's always someone watching. So there's great opportunities there for the learners. You know, just in terms of, let's say, the overall, I just want to go back to the point there, just obviously from my own perspective of being a former learner, and that just the overall, I think the course itself turned me into a man. So I went in as a boy, came out as a man. So take away the football aspect of it, take away the education side of it, you're going in every day. You're getting that discipline. I'd say being in on time. Obviously, you get paid to be on the course as well. You get an allowance to be on the course as well. So you have to mind your money. I had to travel up and down from West Cork up to Cork, be on time every day, as I say. But then, as well, while I was injured, we actually it's a funny story. While I was injured, we were starting cooking. So what it was that I was a pure mummy's boy. Mum used to do everything for me. So while I was injured, I actually came off the course knowing how to cook. So I've implemented that now into our nutrition course, I say. So I've taken that experience from when I was on the course and I brought it into the courses now, you know. So there's a whole variety of skills they learn. It's not just football. And as I say, the success stories, let's say, of the people, let's say, have gone to England, the Matt Steve or the Matt Dohertys, the Enda Stevens. You know, we spoke about Colin Healy there. You know, Gareth Morrissey was on my course. Kevin Long was also on my course as well. These have all played at the highest level, you know. So they're great. But as an overall, as Leo was saying, I think we improve all players. We've had obviously girls as well that have gone on and played internationally. The likes of Claire Shimes down in Cork, and I like to take this opportunity just to say to Claire that we're all thinking of her at this time. But this course is made for all levels of football. You've got people, let's say, are playing junior football, Munster Senior League down here, and that have gone on to win intermediate cups, and that all come through the course. So it is really a broader scale than just, let's say, the Premier League players. And look, the Premier League players and the League of Ireland players are great, but it's open for all levels of football, you know.
Yeah, just on the girls, Noel, just as Harry Kenny's course in Clondalkin when he was there, before it split up into, and now the girls are moving around the courses like Kenny McCabe, Rachel Graham, Pearl Slattery, Amanda McQuillan, Rowan McLaughlin, all came through Harry's, and they've all got out to play senior football, international football, and now 2-3 of them are in America at the moment playing full time. So open the girls as well, and it was great for the courses to have that mixture, and also great for themselves for the progressions they've made, the girls from the courses.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I was just about to say, in terms of having that access, that the girls are there, and we've always experienced that in the number of years I was there. We had Claire, we had Chelsea Noonan. It was always great to have a female presence within the group. It brings a different dynamic to the learning environment, and it's great for the girls to know that access is there. And obviously they get to compete against each other in the Bobby Smith Cup, and obviously Bobby was a huge influencing factor in the ETB program. So Harry, tell us about the Bobby Smith's influence and the cup, and how long it's been going for.
It's going since 2012. Bobby was he started in Norristown, and that was the introduction of the courses. Himself and Martin Russell started it up there. Bobby, very experienced coach, worked around various League of Ireland clubs, mostly with Bray. I worked in the Leinster Senior League, and unfortunately he got ill, Bobby, but still he worked for a couple of years still in Norristown, but unfortunately passed away about 4 years ago now. And we called the cup, now it's the Memorial Cup, but while he was ill, it was the Bobby Smith Cup, and we started. It's between every course. This year we split between north and south, so there's 5 teams in the northern section, 4 in the southern, and the top 2 go into a semi-final and final. So it really is. It's competitive, and the past winners, Cork have won it a few times. It's been spread right around. Cabra won it this year for the 4th year. So every year, I think it's being moved around. The Clondalkin have won it, and it's great to see Dundalk and Waterford in it now. And gives us a great little, just a different players mostly coming from the Under-19 league around the country. So it's very competitive. As Richie said earlier, we were always looking at players when we play against the courses. We pick out players and they represent the representative team, and they played the under-18s, and we did a great win 1-0. And also the representative team goes. We were in Spain 2 years ago, and we 2 weeks there with the representative team. Jerry Davis had a great successful trip there. 2 years ago was in England. Last year was in Spain. So in the last 2 years we had some great tournament trips sponsored by Erasmus Plus, the European money. I think we were only beaten once in 6 games. So some of the team that went away, and both teams in every year, were both very competitive, mostly coming from the league, the League of Ireland under-19.
So tell me now, Harry, as we come to the end of our chat today, for any parent, for any player, for any coach that's listening in, how do they apply? Where do they get the information from? When does the course start? And what next steps can they do to make contact with yourselves?
Yeah, well, you can apply online through the FAI website. It's in the Take Part Programs area. So you can apply online. You can all the coordinators, all their contact details are there, their mobiles, their email addresses. You can contact them personally, and they'll put them in through how to apply in the local area office. So that's one way. Well, what we're working off here, Niall, is probably an awful lot of word of mouth, working with coaches, working with managers, working with parents, and most important too, the repatriated players. So in Cabra this year, we had 6 lads back from England. Wade Slater, James Finnerty, Cat Ligo, all back from you wouldn't say that they're huge clubs, big clubs, but all League 1, League 2. And they've decided themselves that they're probably back in Ireland. So a huge part of the programs now is looking after these lads coming back. Some of them with just a junior cert, maybe with a BTEC, which is probably not recognised in this country, which they did, maybe a small computer courses in England. But now you find like Ray O'Sullivan came back from Wolverhampton after being there for 3 years. He's got 8 distinctions in the exam. He's gone on he'll take any course now in IT Blanchardstown, and hopefully he'll become a successful footballer as well, and probably go back to England. But how to get in touch with it is just really get in touch on the website and make contact with the coordinators throughout the courses.
Okay, so guys, thanks very much for your time today. Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll make sure that we have all of that information on screen for people. But if anyone has any questions or queries, they can direct them to ourselves anyway. And through the FAI, they can come to myself and I can link them in with you. Thanks very much, Richie, Leo, and Harry.
Just one point. One point that, when young people are looking to come on our courses, you just don't know where you can finish up. Because, a few years back, we had a young lad from Galway who hadn't a good leaving, and he got his points, gone to the college. He's now a physio at Liverpool Academy. And so in a few short years, he's coming into our course, not sure whether I will go into that course or not, but he finishes up a few years later at Liverpool Academy. And them are the opportunities that are there for young people. And I think, they need to seriously look at it and say, well, we can achieve on our course. And as I said earlier, the possibilities are there for them. And I would highly recommend our courses because the staff are highly qualified and very good people.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd reiterate that, and genuinely the success rates that we've had and the progression rates from the programme are just out of this world. So it's a credit to you and all of the staff involved in the programme, and we look forward to the programme starting up again later in 2020. So look, guys, best of luck to yourselves. Thanks for joining me this morning, and we look forward to seeing the programme back up and running in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Thanks, Niall.
Cheers, Niall.